JB here. Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. Gonna be really quick. I don't have my charts and stuff. I do apologize. Just had some issues this morning. But just really quick, talk about the market, some of the names I'm looking at, go from there. Uh, Another choppy day yesterday. Markets opened in the red, rallied. Well, I would say rallied, reversed the red into the green. Slow, meticulous, choppy session. Pretty much back to back on the choppy sessions, Monday and Tuesday. Here it is again today. Take a look. Europe markets get destroyed. Asian markets kind of mixed. And then the futures were in the green, and we've kind of dipped a little bit here into the red. GDP data came in a little weaker than expected. GDP data is like I always say, it's like a backwards looking number, right? It says 3 months ago. So to me, that's kind of already baked in, unless there's some crazy surprise with slightly less than expected. But I don't think that does anything for the markets. After the close today, we get Meta and trying to remember. It's Meta, Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon. I forget what the how I don't know if it's Meta and Microsoft after close. But Google after close yesterday hit on all their metrics. They have all the different segments, their cloud, their AI, their YouTube, obviously their core advertising business all did well. So that sets the stage. We got 4 more mega cap earnings this week. If those continue to come in somewhat in line or better than expectations, maybe that could provide wind for the sales for the market. Also, tomorrow we got PC data, and then next week is the big week. We have, why don't I have this here? Okay. We have the election and the Fed meeting. So pretty much 100% probability the Fed's going to cut the rates at least 1/4%. And then we have 1 more Fed meeting. So we'll get that out of the way. Also, I put it on the watch list yesterday and this morning. Just remain cautious. The VIX was over 20 at times in the morning yesterday. Yields continue to rise. The 10 years still over 4% and was rising yesterday before coming down. And then this morning yields were lower and started to reverse. So those are 2 things, and maybe the VIX and the 10-year will start to finally come down next week after the election is finished. All right, so now individual names, and one trade I made yesterday. I was looking at Roku and I was looking at Peloton, and I wasn't looking at Peloton at the open, but then as the day went on, you look, it's continued strength. I started looking at the chart. It's a name I traded back in the day, and I used to love the story. People look at Peloton. A lot of people don't know about it, think it's just a bike. They don't understand it, and if you haven't used it or you don't know somebody who's used it, then you start to get clarity on, hey, why it's so big. It's like I wouldn't call it a cult. It's a bad word to use, but just what they have, the business. Once you get the customer with the bike, unless they use it to, I mean, what most people used to do with their gym equipment is use it to dry out your clothes, right? Or you use it as a hanger. If it's next to your washer dryer, whatever it is, that's it. You put stuff on it. This kind of forces you to use it. You made a big investment in the actual machine, and now you're doing a subscription model, and even the subscription model can be used without the bike. They have a lot of users. Trades less than 1 times revenues. I can go on a rant. I just don't have much time here. And some of their instructors are like idols. They've created them into stars. They do advertising now. I mean, anyway, they report earnings Halloween. The plan or hope would be to be able to lock some of my inexpensive, I would call them lotto calls, but they pretty much are for before earnings, to lock some and cover costs by the rest. If I don't get the chance, I'll probably just hold them. But I do like the story. It is up over 100% since August, but I don't think that matters. I think the turnaround's in place. So that's Peloton. Number 2 is Roku, was the other name I was looking at. It wasn't moving too much, and for me, again, similar to Peloton, I would love to get the calls, lock some in on premium build, and then hold the rest into earnings. And the strikes all the way past 95 are kind of expensive on a risk-reward basis, considering the stocks, it was at 75, 76, 77. Gapping up a little bit here with Google earnings. I'll probably just sit on my hands. This time last year was the earnings. The Q3 earnings for Roku, the stock rallied over 30%. Deja vu? I don't know, but the previous 3 quarters coming up to this quarter has been all red decline. So is this going to be a continuation? I don't have enough conviction to try some spec calls. If the 90s were 15 cents, if they get down there before the close, maybe I'll look for those. But other than that, I'll probably just sit on my hands and wait on Roku. TZOO, it was up, 15% on Monday, no news. Then yesterday gave back 4%, still holding. I think it's got to hold that 16 handle. It holds 16. I think that bodes well. Then I'll get some December and March strikes. They added some more strikes yesterday. I mentioned on the rant, the 35 strikes. I don't know if that's a sign. Hopefully it is. But really like TZOO. Wind reports earnings next week. 3 straight sessions of pretty much flat performance One of these days, it's going to break out to the upside. And then last but not least, here's the super micro news this morning. I mean, you just see it at 8. The 8K came out, and uh, who's it? Young and who's it? Why? Hang on a second, folks. Ernest and Young resigned as their auditor. I mean, that's like that doesn't happen on a company that has billions, a large market cap. It doesn't. So it's always a red flag when they resign, and they have the actual 8K filing that it came out gave some details of some concerns they had, and now you have an investigation and stuff. So it's like it's not good for the company even in the long run, because now you got to look at super micros. Like, is their business going to be able to, like, it's going to have an impact on their business, right? I mean, if you're a customer, and then there's other competing brands out there, company. Not, again, I don't know them as well. I wish I did. I didn't do as much research on Supermicro as I probably should. They're liquid cooled servers or whatever. But then you look at a name like Dell, and I'm like, Dell might be 140 today. So don't be surprised if I add some spec calls on Dell at the open, because I think this is like, there was the Hindenburg report, then there was I don't know if it was Department of Justice or FTC or the SEC came out with their investigation, and now you have this. It's like it's just a snowball rolling downhill, and it usually it doesn't end well, right? So I don't know, it's not like the company's going to do zero revenues, but you have to think it's going to have a huge impact. And then where those customers go, it's not like the customer just stops buying super micro. They're going to go somewhere else. And who are they going to go? They're going to go to some other company that could provide the solution for them. Anyway, that's the rant for today, folks. I'll be back on later if there's anything going on. Last two sessions have been kind of lackluster. Maybe I'll get on the afternoon, early afternoon as well. So have a great day, folks. I'll be back. Rock and roll.